Hello good people, welcome to Keep Left, your all car guide on cars and all things automotive. As always, my name is Kev, the host who knows most about cars. And in today's review, we have a car that is no stranger to our Kenyan roads. This particular car is the reason why we have Toyota Tax. This particular car is TD, top dog. This particular car is why Toyota are not relenting in the space of station wagons. Welcome to the third generation of the Toyota Fielder. This is the third generation of the Toyota Fielder. The Toyota Fielder and the Toyota Axio are brother and sister. The only difference being that this is a station wagon and the Toyota Axio happens to be a sedan. But the two operate properly in the same way. Same engine, same gearboxes and same functionalities. The only thing that you can note about the Fielder is much more famous than the Toyota Axio. Probably that is something you as the viewers can tell me. So if you think you know why the Fielder is much more famous than the Axio, write it down on the comment section so that we can discuss and see why. But back to the video, this is what I think. In terms of station wagons, this is the car to have. There are so many other cars that have come in terms of propositions in the station wagon models. You have the Nissan wingroad, you will have the Honda airwave, you will have the Lancer station wagon. But this is the benchmark. This is why all those cars have propositions in that category of station wagon. So think about it this way. If you're in the market looking for a station wagon, what's the first car that comes to your mind? Exactly. And for that reason, this is why Toyota are not willing to let go of that market share. And these cars have been known to be very efficient, very utilitarian, and all round, just a good car. Some of the things that you'll note about these cars is the years of production for this third generation ran from 2012 up to date. So yes, this is the final generation of the Toyota Fielder. Unless Toyota do something else. What you have in between from the 2012 is several facelifts, as we shall see when we look at the front part of this car. Features I like about this car is this particular owner of this car has done this car a lot of justice. I totally love the wide rims. They do this car a lot of justice. You can never shy away from having this area here. And the spoiler, that is one thing I like about these cars. They just finish out the curvature of the car. One thing you can tell about the spoilers is they are not functional, but they are aesthetic purposes in terms of, because most station wagons, you'll find they are able to regulate the flow of air to the lower part of the car. So the spoilers are much more an aesthetic part. You cannot go, you cannot shy away from mentioning the side blinkers on these cars. Most cars in this generation will shy away from doing that, obviously because of cost purposes. But this helps for two things. One, in terms of, think about it this way. If you're approaching a car and you do not know how wide it is, these ones are able to show you. And in terms of indicating, you're able to see even before you see the front indicators. These ones are much more clearer. Aside from that, you can tell from the previous generation, it has taken a smoother curvature in terms of the front, which ideally will go into what Toyota will tell you, a smoother flow of air to the back part of the cars. That is aided by the fact that you have this one-piece headlight flowing so well into the center grille, accentuating the center part. You'll note that in some cars, Fielder models, you do not have the Toyota logo, but you have this logo. I'll tell you furthermore about that. In terms of facelifts, this is what you see. In the previous generations and the earlier cars, 2012 and 2013, you did not have this one piece of grille, which is much bigger, which is accentuated by the fog lights, but you had a much smaller grille. This has become synonymous with Toyotas of this generation. If you think about the Lexus RX 270 to 350H, they will have a much bigger grille. Ideally, it will promote much more airflow into the radiators for your cooling, which is something good. Ideally, this is a good looking car, very sensible. Toyota don't go into the business of trying to outdo what they don't need to do. If you look at all other station wagons in this generation, and I'll give an example of the Honda Fit Shuttle, which is a direct competitor of this car, it has a lot of curves and corners that you don't need. And I don't think they are for airflow purposes. But ideally, this is simple, concise, and to the point. And don't you all want that? Who needs complication? So in terms of packages, you get ideally 4 packages of what this car comes with: the X package, the G package, and then you have what you call the WXB. Now, quiz for you. What do you think the WXB stands for? I won't do all your research for you. So put it down on the comment section and tell me what you get. And then we see what prizes you can get for Christmas, isn't it? But aside from that, you also get a 180S, which comes with the 1800cc engine, which I think I didn't mention on that, but ideally is a 1800cc engine. Interiors. Toyota have always been modest in terms of their interiors, and you can guess why. This happens to be a very utilitarian car. So the much lesser doodabs that you have in the car, the better it is for you. So if you come in, some of the things you'll note is that there is a very simple dashboard, easy to clean, black on black, which makes a lot of sense. The interior is also black, which I totally like. They try to accentuate it with this grayish or silver trimmings that you have here, but it is good. I like the fact that all the AC controls are just under the infotainment unit, which is easy for you to look at. But aside from that, I've always been a huge advocate for the plastic dashboards because they are easy to use and they are easy to clean. You don't want the leather ones like the ones that came in the first generation of Mark X's that used to crack a lot. These are nice. In terms of compartments, yes, you have the main compartment here, very huge for you. You have some cup holders on the door cards. You will have your 2 cup holders. I'm a huge fan of cup holders. Don't ask me why. But ideally you get 2 cup holders, which is nice. And then if you look at where the placing of the gear, it is very simple and well placed. Some of the other things that you will get in this area, you have your traction control in that particular area. It's quite spacious in terms of how it is, if you can tell. This is a good space in terms of the person who's sitting on the co-driver's seat. And as we go to the back, you get what I was talking about, space galore. So the good thing about the back area is this is the normal driving position, albeit it's quite in front a bit, but the legroom is good. What you look at again is the headroom is perfect with this particular size of the car. And then as I was talking about this, you'll notice that in most cars of this size, you'll have a transmission tunnel here that is wasting a lot of space. But the fact that this is flat, it means that any person sitting in the middle seats is not inconvenienced. In most cars, you'll find people sitting in this particular manner. You have to wedge yourself. Another car that comes with a flat floor in terms of station wagons is the Honda Airwave. If you haven't watched my video on the Honda Airwave, there'll be a link on the description of this video, which you can watch. The Honda Airwave comes close to what you have in the Toyota Fielder. I think they borrowed a lot from the Toyota Fielder, but don't tell Honda I said that. Anyways, aside from that, you'll always get this flip-up armrest, which is quite nice, albeit it doesn't come with the cup holders because they have been placed on the door cards. So when you come to the rear door cards, that's where you have your cup holders. You will always have the speakers mounted on the door cards, which is good just to balance the music in the car. But aside from that, this is a perfectly able car. I won't forget the fact that yes, you have ISOFIX. In the rear area, what you call the boot is no surprises. There's a lot of space. That's the whole purpose of this car. So some of the things I like about the rear space before I even review the spare wheel and all is these levers. These levers have become synonymous with most station wagons of this generation. So what you have is, if you flip this, your rear seats should fold up like that, which is a quite convenient feature, which is very nice. This feature is featured very well in the Subaru Legacy that I've done a review of. Again, if you haven't watched that video, feel free to do that. Back to this car, there is this toe hook here to hang your shopping, your groceries, ideally, so that they don't roll off. Such small features that come in these cars are what just tells you, gives you the utilitarian part of this car. It carries up to 4 kgs, so you can carry 4 kgs of meat. The other thing that I like is this splitter panel. This splitter panel there, got it right. So it ideally helps you to split. Again, you can put very light things here, or if you don't want things at the back to be on the floor, you can again just place them there. I would think about if do you have any form of laundry that you want to put here, you can put them there. So the split, this boot splitter is quite a nice feature. The other thing is, I won't forget, you have your lights to illuminate the boot area, which most car manufacturers will forget. Now, in terms of working on this car at the back, something that most manufacturers will not factor in is, if you come close here, if you are to look at this part, this reveals the area where you can open up your rear suspension just to remove them and have them replaced. So this is quite a nice feature from a working servicing point of view. Most cars, you'll have this, you have to remove the back seat so that you access the shocks. But for this station wagon, I like that they're there. For your repair kits and all that, emergency equipment, you have nice compartments put up in this area. And finally, no prizes for guessing, this generation of car did not come with the donut. What you get is the repair kit, the compressor and the fluid, which work well for these cars. The only downside about that, and I've mentioned it several times, is if you get a tire bus, sorry for that, you are screwed because you're not using that. But ideally, how often do you get tire busts? Yes. Under the bonnet, you have a familiar foe in terms of an engine. Most fielders of this generation will come with the normal 1NZD. The engine is bulletproof. You get no faults from that engine. But in this particular car in review, we have the 2NR. The 2NR succeeded the 1NZ FE, and it is equally a powerful engine. And some of the things why it's powerful is you get a higher compression ratio in terms of each cylinders. Yes, it is a 4-cylinder. Some of the other engines that you get in this proposition are the 1.3 1NR, which you will normally find in most VITs. You will have the 1.5 1NZE. You will have the 1.5 1NZE FXE. The FXE denotes a hybrid engine. I'm sure you've seen engine bays which come with an engine here, and there's something on the side here, a hybrid system. Basically, electronic motor, gasoline motor running each other to complement each other. Now, the good thing about this particular engine is that in terms of fuel consumption, yes, and you can tell by the smile on my face, this will give you up to an average of 16 kilometers to the liter. So now, while you're asking Toyota, that should be one of the reasons why you get this particular car. In terms of gearboxes, you have two different types of gearboxes. One, what you have in this, an auto, and we'll look at that to a great extent when we drive this car, and then a 5-speed manual. They come as easy as that. At least in this generation, as opposed to the previous generation, you get a semblance of Toyota knew what they were doing with this particular generation. It's simpler and there are lesser options because they know what was working. In terms of drivetrain, you either get what you have in this car, a front-wheel drive car or a 4-wheel drive car. And the beauty about a front-wheel drive car, you'll see in the interior, you get much more space because you don't need to utilize the transmission talent. So the back seats have a floor that is flat, which gives you a lot of space and legroom. Top spec is what I will describe this car with. So it doesn't come with the poverty buttons, but ideally you get all the functionalities for your headlights. Again, you will get your lane assist and a collision sensors in this car, which is, I didn't expect by there, to be honest. I thought Toyota will just do something that is very easy for you. Aside from that, if you come to your gauge cluster, I like the fact that it's again, Toyota always go for simple. This is quite simple. You'll have your rev counter, your speedometer, and then a cluster for your fuel, and that's it. Around all this, you'll have different portions like when you have your collision assist sensor, the sport mode and all that. You'll have them illuminating in this area, which is quite simple. What you get in terms of driving position is a lot of space, and this space comes in a very wise way, because you notice how the dashboard has been reduced this particular area. I wish ideally they had put some space here, maybe like a cooler box for you to put some stuff, but ideally it's well catered for. I'm sure Toyota had their reasons. But in terms of driving this car, Toyotas are always firm. You get this feeling that they are not clunky. Albeit this is a new car, but you get what I'm saying. Toyotas have a way of having a driving experience that just works wonders. So you get a lot of space, and in terms of how the car feels, it feels well planted. You wouldn't tell this car is a 1500cc. But the good thing about that is, and as I mentioned earlier on in this video, is that with 1500cc's you get very nice fuel economy. This car comes with a predominant an active eco drive system, which means it's not an on off sort of a system. This one you have it on throughout. Again, you want this car to be as efficient as possible as you use it. So what are some of the drawbacks that you will get from this car? The first one is, as I've mentioned while we are reviewing the boot area, is that this car doesn't come with a spare wheel. It was done as a compromise in order to add more space just in the back area. So you end up always having that in your mind in terms of if you get a tire burst, yeah, you're screwed. The other drawback that I feel this car comes with is these cars outnumber any other car. In fact, the ratio of cars to people, I think for every one person there are 3 Toyota Fielders, which means that one, your car is hotcake, and you end up in situations you have to be careful in terms of security for this car. The third part of drawbacks is this car, again, by the fact that it is a very common car, you end up in situations where parts for these cars are duplicated like no one's business. So deciphering between original parts and fake ones is will depend on where you shop for your parts. But in most parts, you might end up buying counterfeit parts. The last drawback for this car is, and it will cater for 2 purposes, is the price. This is a 2016 model, and at the moment I don't think you can get a 2016 model for anything below 2 million. Yes, below 2 million. Ideally, some people will say that's a good thing, because again, when it comes to the second-hand market, you don't have to pay a lot in terms of risk. You don't lose a lot of value, sorry for that, with these cars. But as we say that, it's a lot of money for these cars, and prices are continue to go up. So we don't see a position where this might go back to probably where the prices were at 1.5 million for the other compatriots. And this we will talk about the Honda Fit shuttles and the likes. But again, it is Toyota tax. So who are we? With that, you get a lot of a car in terms of functionality. This car will ultimately serve you for the better part of its life without any faults at all. So it's a plus. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you want notifications about future videos, make sure you ring on the bell icon, and most of all, so that your friends can see and your friends can see this video, make sure you give it a huge thumbs up. Until next time, it is peace.